Super excited to welcome in one of the top basketball voices on YouTube, and that is a crowded space, so it's saying something. Also, a podcaster and entrepreneur representing the Enjoy Basketball brand. It's Kenny Beecham. Welcome to the association, my friend. Appreciate you giving us some time here. I want to jump right into the hoops conversation with you because this is something that we've talked about here on the association on NBA TV a ton. The MVP race. It feels like it's really tight and a razor-thin margin between some of the best players in the NBA. So you tell me, man, who do you have leading this race?
I still have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander number one. The way I kind of look at it, because all four of the top candidates, if we're assuming the 65-game rule won't rule any of those four guys out, they're all deserving, right? If you have Jokic, I can't complain. If you have Wemby, I can't complain. You have Luka, I can't complain. But the factor that makes Shai my MVP right now is the season-long consistency of it. Like, I can poke holes in every single one of these cases, whether it be with, Luka having a month where he was still pretty dominant in the sense of the counting stats, but maybe not the overall impact. The same thing with Jokic when he came back from his injury for a few weeks, didn't look like himself. I think from day one of the NBA season to where we are right now, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been the most valuable player of them all, because he also checks off all the boxes you could potentially want for an MVP. His team is winning. He's the best player on that team. He's impactful on both sides of the ball. He is maybe the clutch player of the year on top of all of this. And he's shooting, 50% on twos, 55% on twos as a guard. So for me, it is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I'm so glad that you bring up that clutch factor, because how many times, late game situation, just give the ball to SGA. The dude's going to cook and he's going to knock down a shot. We just go, hey, that's why he's the reigning MVP, and at least according to Kenny, could have that hardware once again. You happen to name check a bunch of dudes in the Western Conference, and I'm thinking about the Eastern Conference, because everyone's been looking up at Detroit in the standings for a while, and yet there's so much buzz around the Celtics. So you tell me, man, who truly is the team to beat in the East?
Yeah, I'm rocking with the Celtics like many people are. I think of the major candidates out east, I'm thinking of, Detroit, Cleveland, New York, and the Boston Celtics. They have the least amount of question marks. I think part of that is because we've seen them do it over the last couple seasons, right? And Tatum, every single game, like he's playing more fluidly. He's hitting more shots than before. But when you look at Detroit, you think about the lack of spacing and creation, and that's all dependent on if Cade Cunningham even comes back for the season. The Cavs still don't feel like they have a ton of time together for us to look at them and say championship team. The Knicks on some night look like a powerhouse, and other nights they're losing by 20 to a team that they shouldn't lose by 22. And then the Celtics have just been consistently great between the Jays, Jaylen Brown playing an all-NBA level, Jason Tatum looking better. So, yeah, I'm leaning towards the Celtics, too.
There's that toughness factor. I think there's fans in Detroit that are saying, no, like, we're still the team to beat here. And there's fans in the Big Apple, because I'm not based in New York City, but certainly a Knicks fan. And I think there's some Knicks fans that are going, no, we're still the team to beat. But the point is, I think in the West, it feels more defined, this playoff race here. And yet sometimes you see some parity. In the Eastern Conference, I think you can make a case for some teams really at the bottom of the playoff standings in the Eastern Conference that could make a run. Kind of like what we saw from the Pacers last year. Is there a team that really stands out to you that you think could create some noise?
I've been thinking about this a lot because, last year was maybe my favorite individual playoff run for a team. And, of course, I've been around for – I don't act like I'm super old. I'm almost 30, but I'll take that as 30 years of NBA fandom.
That's super old. Bro, know your audience, man. I'm 44, okay? So, like, when I hear, at first I'm like, well, damn, you're going to make reference to your age. You look young. And then you're saying, like, 30. Come on, man. You get out of bed, you don't even hear Snap, Crackle, Pop. Wait, when that happens to you every single morning, that's when you can start making those age references.
But what I'm leaning to saying is that Pacers team was my favorite individual run of my lifetime as an NBA fan. And I think part of that was the unknown of the team, right? They started off so slow, a lot of injuries. Then by January 1st, they turned into this super team, it felt like. But even then, right, when they had the second best net rating since January 1st leading into the playoffs, nobody was like, the Pacers are the team to watch. So much so that on our show, when they matched up against the Cavs in the second round, we spent 2 minutes previewing the series because all of us are like, Cavs in 5, right? And we were all completely wrong. So when I look at this year, the 2025-2026 season, it's hard for me to find a team that has that level of momentum, that has, like, I don't know, the basketball gods were on their side between all the game winners that were hit, the hot streak from Aaron Nesmith. And so, but if I had to pick, because I like to at least give an answer, The Cavs have the biggest, like I said earlier, the biggest question mark revolving their team. Donovan Mitchell and James Harden have both had some playoff demons, if you will, that they have to exercise in order to make that happen. But the front court size, the on-ball creation, and when they get completely healthy between Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, Sam Merrill, Jalen Tyson, when he comes back, they have a nice little core guys, a group of guys. They have so many different directions of lineups they can put together. So if there was going to be a surprise Cinderella team, maybe it's the Cavs, but I don't feel too confident in it.
Okay, I actually like that call because I feel like when I've asked that question a lot, the Hornets come up, and rightfully so, because they're fun. You got all these offensive weapons here. I feel like, just generally speaking here on the association, we probably don't love up Cleveland nearly enough. So I'm glad you decided to go in that direction.
The Hornets are not a bad pick either, though. I think the one reason why I didn't go that way is in this hypothetical, they'd have to go through the play-in and then go against one of the top two teams we've already mentioned. And the one thing the Pacers had under their belt before that run is a level of experience, right? Sure. Pascal Siakam, an NBA champion, Halliburton and company, that just went to the conference finals the year before. So they've been in those big games, and unfortunately, the Hornets haven't been in those games yet.
Okay, I like where your head's at with this, because we talk about experience in the postseason and how much of a dictator that could be in terms of, pointing towards success. Western Conference Finals, if it's OKC, who's got that experience, championship pedigree, or a San Antonio Spurs team that, candidly, just doesn't have that right now. Who do you got?
Yeah, listen, on the internet, there's a portion of fandom that call me an OKC Glazer, Mike, because for the last couple of years, even before the championship, I was like, this team is about to do something special. And I recognize that in the regular season, the Spurs have taken care of business against OKC. But there's something about that experience level that I think will cause me to go OKC's way if those two teams were to match up. I'm also looking at the teams that they would have to match up to even make that a reality. Like right now, the Spurs would still have to beat their first round matchup and then probably go against Denver in the second round. That series is a dogfight. And if they get out of that, I'm looking at OKC side of the bracket is like, okay, maybe it's the Suns in the first round and then what's left of the Lakers or the Minnesota Timberwolves. So they may have an easier path and be more well-rested once we get to the conference finals, and that might be a factor. But give me the experience of Shea, and I pray that we get that series, because that would be one of my favorite ones.
Oh, my God. Seriously, sign me up for it. I think all NBA fans want to see those two teams go head-to-head, unless you root for another team in the Western Conference and you think your team's got a chance to get to the conference finals and then obviously win an NBA championship. I know I brought this up when I brought you on, Kenny. Would love to hear a little bit more. The Enjoy Basketball platform, you're collaborating with the NBA. Tell me about this relationship and what fans can expect.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to say it's a dream come true, right? When we started the business or I started creating content, I would have never in a million years think that we'd be in conversations at least to start this partnership. And I'm really excited for it, right? We got some really cool people on our team that are behind the scenes making sure that the content that we produce for the NBA is going to be fun. What we have starting off Friday, a game that we're really excited for, the Charlotte Hornets versus the Detroit Pistons, which might matter for the Hornets, right? We're doing a simulcast, altcast on NBA's app, which should be really fun. Me and my other guys of the Numbers on the Board podcast, really excited to do that because my boy Pierre, like a little tangent here, my boy Pierre did a day in the life as a Charlotte Hornets basketball player right before they went on their hot streak. So he feels like he's on the team, right? He's met all the coaches, the scouting team. So he's rooting for them to get into the postseason, as am I. And then we're also doing this trivia series. If you know me on the internet, you know I'm a guy that loves NBA trivia, so much so that I'm like, at least in my prime, if you will, was basketball reference heavy, remembering stats, colleges, and former coaches and all of that. So we're doing a series that is similar to like, can you beat Kenny Beecham in trivia? And that's a 3-part series, and I'm really excited for it because I get to flex those trivia muscles, if you will, and I'm excited for it.
I love it. I love it. At one point, we got to get all of our crew together. We'll take part in a little trivia contest. We'll have some fun on your show as well. But look, nonetheless, man, appreciate you giving us some time here. Enjoy this relationship with the NBA. Continued success to you, man, and looking forward to having you back on the show soon.
Thanks, Mike.